Hey everyone, Sean here for the WorldCupNow.com, bringing you your Barclays Fantasy Premier League tips for Game Week 11. I have a quick how-to video, and just going to go over some knee-jerk reactions throughout the week. I go into it in my post a little bit more in depth, so check out the post. And we are back to the normal format, looking for a little bit more feedback from you guys, whether you'd like that feature that I had last week. I do have some other fantasy managers that are chomping at the bit. They do want to come in and give you guys some tips and speak their piece and how they go about picking who they pick and why. So it's always a good conversation, and can maybe shed some light on some ideas that maybe you didn't think of. So just going to switch it over. I'm going to do a quick how-to video, and we'll go through that first, and then we'll get on our way. So I'm just going to switch that over, and we'll see you in a second. Okay, so just switched over to my screen here, and one question that I get, and it surprised me, it'll probably surprise some of you veteran fantasy managers, but one question I do get often is, how do you change your formation? When you go into your league, you sign in, you get to your screen, you go into your pick team, and what you do is to pick your team and you want to change your formation. Really, you can swap out, say, your midfielder and you want to bring in another defender. There, it automatically switches your formation. Now, a problem I can see with some of you guys is that it wouldn't keep it. What you actually need to do is you need to come down here and you need to confirm those changes. Then you'll see it'll refresh, it'll come back, and then you'll have this formation. So that's how you change your formation, and I just wanted to get that briefly in there because it has been asked a few times throughout the season, and I just want to help you guys out, no matter how small it is. Now, that being said, I am going to switch this back to the way I had it, and as you can see, I haven't made any changes yet. I'm waiting on Silva's fitness. With international break, this is the last game week before international break, which brings up a lot of instances that injuries can happen, players can fall out of form. Mainly it's injuries, but going into the next game week, it's always beneficial to have 2 free transfers. So in that way, if one of your guys gets injured on international duty, you can swap them out, and then you can avoid that, and you can avoid taking a hit for it, and it'll save you some points in the long run. So that being said, I'm just going to go through the fixtures right now because it is kind of tough. You know, Aston Villa and Cardiff, 2 decent teams. Benteke needs to start firing. Villa's going to have a good run of fixtures, and I think this is where they can start to accumulate some points, not only in the table but also in terms of fantasy. So I'm going to be watching Benteke in this game. If he scores, I'm probably going to pick him up moving into after the international break just because of their run of fixtures. Cardiff are a good city, They're a good city, yes. But they're a good football club as well. They've been doing very well this year, very solid defensively. They've had 2 clean sheets in their last 2, or I could say in their last 3. But they're doing very well. So I did have Turner. I got one of his clean sheets. One of them they were on the bench, but that's how it goes with a bench player. Chelsea West Brom. It's going to be a good game as well. Going to be looking at maybe Oscar or Hazard if Silva is not fit by Friday, or there's no news that comes out. Another swap might be for Yaya Toure. So I may opt to go that way as well. But this Chelsea game is interesting too because West Brom are a good, tight team right now, so they're doing very well. Everton Crystal Palace. I think everybody's going to be looking for Everton to start scoring. Lukaku had a little bit of match fitness issues, but those are starting to, according to the manager, get resolved. Liverpool Fulham. This is going to be a good game. I'm probably looking for Liverpool to score a few after being blanked last week against Arsenal. It's the first time they were blanked all season, so I'll be looking for Sturridge and Suarez to light up Fulham, and I think Fulham are expecting that, and they'll probably play it tight defensively, clog up the midfield if they can. So it'll also be interesting to see if Coutinho starts and gets a full 90. Southampton and Hull, another good match. I'd be looking for Lambert to maybe get on the score sheet. He's been kind of quiet this season, and Hull may present a good opportunity to get just a result. Norwich and West Ham, it's going to be a dog battle, really. Both teams aren't in top flight form. West Ham, I'm going to give them the edge just because they haven't been beaten up as bad as Norwich has in the last couple games. I'll give the edge to West Ham. Spurs and Newcastle. Newcastle coming off of a very strong win, so they're probably going to carry that confidence going into this game. And Spurs will have a little challenge on their hands. They'll have to, being on the home field, they're going to have the advantage to begin with, but Newcastle's going to have their confidence going in. And a lot of managers are looking for this next game, City and Sunderland, to be another big blowout like last week was. And we may just get that. So that's why I'm looking to try and keep Silva. I've thinking about bringing in Aguero. I know a lot of managers that are moving up brought him in a couple weeks ago. For me to bring in an Aguero or Suarez that's valued at 11.7, I'm going to have to make at least 2 changes. So it's not something that I'm just going to, be able to do willy-nilly. I'm going to have to make a big change in my team. So we'll see, and I'm going to maybe save that for after international break. And another big game, this is just like last week's Arsenal game, but swap in Man United for Liverpool this week. And United are at home. I think I'm going to give the edge to Arsenal because United's defense has been a little lax as of late, and I think Arsenal will be able to take advantage of that. Either way, I'm hoping that it's probably going to be at least 2 goals aside, hopefully, and we'll see how that goes. And Swansea-Stoke. Swansea had Michu on Swansea has an injury, so look for maybe an even game. I know Wilfred Boney scored in Europa League earlier this afternoon, so that may bode well for maybe a differential. So maybe look for that. But Stoke are, this might be an opportunity for Stoke to pull out a point, maybe even 3. So we'll see. So on to the knee-jerk reactions. Earlier this week, I'm just going to go over this briefly, but earlier this week there was a Twitter rumor released that Luis Suarez wasn't going to be playing in this weekend's game because of FIFA rulings and having to be discharged 5 days before, etc., etc. And it seemed like the whole soccer fantasy portion of the internet just kind of blew up and went crazy. And I know a lot of managers did some knee-jerk kind of trades. They're like, oh, Suarez isn't going to play. I better get rid of him before he drops, because price drops and increases have been happening very quickly this season, and astute managers are picking up on that. But there's also a downfall to that. If that's not the case, just like this rumor was, then you're making a change for nothing, maybe even taking a hit for nothing. So as I go more into my post, follow it down below. It just kind of helps you to avoid knee-jerk reactions when you should be doing your transfers, and how to look at your team that way. So that is it. A wrap up for game week 11. I will be back after the international break, so I wish you guys all the best, and we will see you in a few weeks. Take care.